Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us in your healing journey. We are so honored you are choosing Equilibrium Natural Health. We know you have many options available to you. This short video is to help you become more acquainted with the philosophy of natural medicine, our clinic experience, and what you can expect in a typical treatment plan. After reviewing this video, we will take some time together to answer your specific questions and provide time for you to describe the desires you have for your health. The point of today's discussion is to determine why you came here today and if we have solutions that will be a good fit for you. You, like most people, may be seeking us out because of symptoms you are afraid might get worse, and you want to avoid drugs or surgery, or maybe because you are looking to increase and improve your health. It is important to understand where you sit on the path of your health journey so we can determine together which solution best fits your needs and if we were a good fit. The final direction we go will be determined by what we find in your new patient exam and what you share with us in your new patient intake paperwork. So to get an understanding of how we may best work together, we need to understand a few items. One of the first questions that is essential to ask is, what stage of symptoms are you in? Is your situation acute or is your situation chronic? Allow me to elaborate. If your situation is acute, it usually means that you're in the middle of an ailment which started recently, like a headache or a flu that you woke up with this morning. A chronic picture would mean that you've had migraines that continue to happen, maybe for months or years, leading to a full loss of functionality. In this acute case, we would need a Band-Aid to bring you to a level of adequate functionality while we work together to find the root cause of why you arrived to your acute level of health in the first place. We use the information gathered in the new patient exam to figure out what is the best course of action, allowing you to have your symptoms reduced while working on the underlying cause that did give you the symptoms in the first place. Next, we are going to address some common myths and provide a couple of facts about health. Myth number 1, you may think that just because your condition runs in your family, that you're doomed to get it and live with it your entire life. This is false, as genetics only plays maybe less than 20% a role in dysfunction. It's actually environmental factors that play a primary role in a person's health. I'm going to use an extreme example in the following story. I'm going to use the example of a gun that has been sitting on a picnic table in the middle of the desert for the last 1,000 years. The gun is the genetics in this scenario. If no one is around that gun, it will most likely never go off. However, if you put the gun at a party on a table, the people being the environmental factor, there is a very high chance someone will mess with it and it will fire. So the environment around your genes, aka the gun, increases your chances of wellness or disease. Myth number 2, the only options I have available to me are drugs or surgery, and that's the only way I can reduce my symptoms. This is also false, as natural or holistic options are everywhere around us. I'll explain the difference also between Western or traditional medicine and natural medicine in a moment, but I'm going to share a few additional facts before I do. Fact number 1, more than 80% of health issues, as the theory goes, start as emotions that haven't been properly processed. It may come from your childhood or even possibly a birthing trauma. Fact number 2, the body tends to have the ability to repair itself when it is exposed to the proper environment and when it is provided with enough time, adequate resources, and when we get out of our own way. Understanding some basic myths and facts such as these are helpful to be able to in turn understand the differences between Western and natural medicine. Western medicine philosophy is set up for acute or trauma care using drugs and surgery under extreme situations to reduce symptoms. Examples of this would be during a heart attack or after breaking your leg. Obviously, these would be appropriate reasons to use symptom reducers, like pharmaceutical drugs, which essentially covers up the symptoms so you don't die or so you don't feel extreme pain. However, these quick fixes often neglect to address the root cause of the issue. Natural medicine, on the other hand, while we still may use some of the acute care remedies to keep you alive, we seek to identify the root cause of why you had a heart attack in the first place. Under the care of a natural health care professional, we will often use natural remedies which work just as effectively, with less side effects than pharmaceutical drugs and some surgeries. So, integrating both Western and natural medicines provides you with the best, well-rounded care. Our next topic will help you understand how we use our whole body approach, or the triangle of health as we refer to it as in our clinic. The triangle of health consists of three main areas of our lives: physical, mental, emotional, and biochemical. When even one area is out of balance, the result is dysfunction. When we experience more difficult issues or disease, it is because more than one side of the triangle has been affected. Because of this, some people don't get better as fast as others, or they don't get better at all, despite having quality care from a practitioner who focuses on one side of the triangle solely. At Equilibrium Natural Health, we work tirelessly to look at you as a whole person so we can address all sides of the triangle to help you reach optimal health and wellness. We integrate the triangle of health during the new patient exam to best understand how to serve you. Now, to describe the triangle of health in more detail, we will start with the physical component of the triangle. We will start with the example of a car accident or structural trauma to your body. In this case, you may need to be supported by spinal manipulation, massage therapy, acupuncture, chiropractic care, or physical therapy, of which we have several phenomenal community health partners that we refer to if we don't have them in the office. The mental emotional component may stem from the emotional duress of the accident scenario explained above, or from other past traumas, or maybe some other current emotional trauma, all of which will look different for you than it will for me or the next person. We specialize in several customizable mental and emotional therapies to bring you back to a fully functional state of mental health. Clinically, we have found that coupling these therapies with talk or other psychotherapy is the most beneficial. Thus, we have also built some solid mental health partnerships that we refer to. The biochemical component includes the environment you live in and your possible exposure to heavy metals, chemicals, and other environmental factors. The foods you eat, the way you digest or that you don't digest, your body's elimination functions, your brain chemistry, your immune system, and your hormone function. So that concludes the philosophy piece of our video. I hope I have offered adequate information. Please make sure that you ask any questions you may still have during the second half of today. Moving on. Another reason you are here is to learn a little bit more about our clinic and my experience, and any other practitioners we may have in the office, to determine if we're the right fit or the right health partner for you. A little bit about me. I received a bachelor's degree in biology before attending medical school. I attended a 4-year medical school similar to a traditional medicine, where the first 2 years are basic sciences. The last 2 years of med school were focused on primary care, starting with hands-on rotations in a clinical setting, starting in my 3rd year. I spent 2 years on a specialty mentorship during which I worked with something called SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is a specialty digestive issue. I also spent 2 years working with different modalities, supporting people with traumatic brain injuries. I spent my first few years of practice working for a brilliant doctor who focused on nutrition and herbs, after which I purchased the practice that I'm currently in 2017, where I currently reside with my wife and 3 children. Next, we are going to address what you can expect in a typical treatment plan. Treatment plans based on a holistic approach look considerably different than traditional medicine. Most people are used to the acute remedies offered through the traditional medical model, like we discussed earlier, which, while they do provide results to spare one from immediate surgery or relief, sometimes death, they often do not provide long-term elimination of the problem. The time required through the whole body natural approach may be a new concept to you, but it does provide the best results. Typically, it takes about 1 to 3 months to resolve most major symptoms with treatment after your exam, which helps us to determine what will give you the best results. Sometimes for more chronic resistant symptoms, it will take regular visits up to 6 or 9 months for the acute symptoms to resolve. Once the symptoms are relieved and the body is in a place of healing, then all the energy can go to fixing the systems that have come offline, which may take many more years of working together. Once a person has received the level of healing that is desired, most are transitioned into a wellness program that consists of in-person visits monthly or 2 to 4 times a year to continue the deep healing process. Regular maintenance of health and wellness will help avoid illness and the need for medication and surgery in most cases. With all that said, you're probably wondering what information I use to determine the proper customized treatment plan for your body. So now I'll move on to the logistical side of things that we cover in your exam. All intake documents, the result of the required in-clinic metabolic testing, and other labs we may order are all important tools that paint a whole picture of what's happening with you. These tools help us provide accurate advice based on your individual biochemistry and other factors. It is important to understand that filling out the forms will take you longer than if you went in for only symptom reduction picture, as we will need to look at all the aspects of your health. That's the triangle of health piece. Should you decide to move forward in a partnership with us to reach your health goals, please do your best to give thorough answers to the questions on the documents so that we can give you the best care possible. A thought as we end today. We live in a toxic world, and it is important to understand that to be healthy requires an investment of time and resources to stay well and to stay off medications. Here are a couple of questions to ask yourself. When was the last time you spent money on your car to make sure it stayed up and running or looked fancy and nice? Do you make yourself a priority and look at your health as an investment in your future life freedom and enjoyment? What do you need in order for you to get well? To invest in your health increases your chances of having health freedom as you age. If you continue on the path that you are going, most people are going to get worse instead of better. Start today on your healing journey by setting yourself up with an exam to determine what you need to get well. We hope you have enjoyed this video and hope that you understand this was made to help you become more empowered, to make better choices on your own so that you will increase your quality of life. The next step is to determine if we have a good solution for you, and for that, we need to have an in-office exam. We will be answering any additional questions that you have during our in-person meeting. I look forward to meeting you.